Right now, Bitcoin has been crashing towards the downside. As you can see, we've had mass liquidations across the board, and this has been the second biggest liquidation we've seen this cycle. So we need to be talking about what's going to be happening next, because it's not only Bitcoin that's been dumping towards the downside, it's also been the stock market. So we need to be talking about why we're having this crash towards the downside and what's going to be happening next. I have a lot of charts prepared, and I'm going to be looking at the longer time frames too, since we talked about last video, the cycle is coming near to its end. So we need to be talking about, is the top in, or is there something else that we're missing? And of course, I'm going to be looking at Ethereum too, and we're going to be seeing what's happening with that, what's going to be likely next. And yeah, let's not waste any more time. With that being said, let's go straight away in towards this banger. Bow. So like stated in the intro, we've seen Bitcoin come towards the downside massively, and of course the stock market is actually closed massively in the red. And the reason for this is the fact that we've had Donald Trump actually impose 100% tariff on China starting November 1st. And of course, you can see over here, Trump was talking about this on True Social, and this has led to a massive move towards the downside. So of course, this is very, very similar to what we've seen in April, where the markets were extremely spooked due to Trump's tariffs, and this is just happening again, and we're seeing the trade war persist. So of course, right now, Bitcoin has had one of the biggest liquidations ever. If we look at the exact numbers, we can see that the 24-hour liquidation scale has been upwards of $19 billion being liquidated in the market, and this is bigger than the FTX crash at 1.6 billion and a lot bigger than the COVID crash at 1.2 billion. So we can see right now that this is extremely large, and this is showing the magnitude of this dump. A lot of people have been shaken out, and we need to be looking about what's the next thing that Bitcoin's going to be doing. Have we hit major support levels or not? And yeah, you can see on the screen right now that we came as low as 102,000, which has been insane for Bitcoin. And of course, we're actually holding at this mid-range level right now, and we need to be paying attention to the weekly close, because at the minute we're holding the support level, but it is likely that over the weekend we can consolidate a bit more, and maybe we can move towards the downside, filling some of the inefficiency below. But of course, if we look at the liquidation heat map, we can see that all that downside liquidity has been swept, and things have been literally cascading towards the downside, of course. So looking at the charts again, we can actually use this information to know that, of course, the downside liquidity has been swept. So if we do come towards the downside and maybe we consolidate a bit more, it is likely we go and grab that topside liquidity eventually. Now, if we're going to be looking at the seasonality, we can see that October is actually now red. And I've talked about the fact that October, typically we see an average return of about 20%. We see green October, especially in post-halving years. But right now we're seeing October flipping in the red, and the monthly candle is now red. So of course, we need to be looking at what's going to be happening next. And the only two times that we've actually seen a red October has been in bear markets. So right now, I don't think that it's likely we're going to be closing in the red. And due to this fact, and looking at, of course, the weekly returns, we can see that we're in a 41st week right now. And just looking ahead at the weeks, we can see that they're massively bullish and they're all positive. So the average return for the weeks ahead is massively positive on average, and it looks like, of course, this is going to be playing out massively, and we're still going to be seeing the seasonality actually play out, and it's likely that we're going to be seeing a green Q4. So in my opinion, I'm not going to be getting too bearish on this dump. We've seen mass liquidations already happen, so I don't think that it's going to be likely we move towards the downside. I do think that we can close Q4 massively green. We're going to be continuing towards the upside, but of course, that's mainly due to the seasonality we're seeing. And of course, we can look at the bull market support bands right now, so the 50 SMA and the 50 EMA, and you can see right now that we've actually come very close to testing that 50 moving average. And of course, every time we've tested it, this bull market, that's marked the bottom. So right now, I do think that it is likely that we potentially put in a short-term bottom, and it's likely we can continue towards the upside. But of course, we can look at the Fibonacci's on a longer time frame, and we can see that we've been rejecting from the 2 Fibonacci, and we have not been able to actually confirm further candles above it so far. So we need to be seeing how this weekly candle closes, because it is possible that the next weekly candle we can actually start to form that recovery, and maybe within the next few weeks we actually reclaim that 2 level and we move towards our 2.618. So this is one thing for the longer time frames, but again, we are running out of time, since if you look at the Bitcoin halving shown by the vertical dotted orange lines on the screen, you can see it's actually projected 500 days in advance, shown by these green bars as well, and you can see as well that this actually times the cycle top previously. You can see every time that we've come in towards this green region, it's marked the top, and we're quite far in towards the green region. So the top of the cycle is very, very near. It's just a matter of if we're going to have a blow off top before we move towards the downside, or have we already topped. And again, looking at the seasonality and looking at what's going to be happening, most likely, I don't think that we've actually topped. I think that we can actually have one more push towards the upside before we actually top out. So that's one thing that I am going to be anticipating. So just a quick one, if you want to be trading yourself, make sure to check that first link down below for WEEX. WEEX is an exchange that's offering you guys a 25% discount on your trading fees, and of course a free $100 once you do sign up. And on top of that, you can be getting a 20% deposit bonus. So make sure to be checking this out. You can see on the screen the different options you have once you do deposit some funds. So make sure to be checking it out, and you can be getting up to $30,000 in total rewards. So that's the first link down below if you're interested, if you want to be trading for yourself. And of course, looking at that second link down below, you can be joining my community right now, my VIP community, using that second link down below and signing up for WEEX. So make sure to be checking that out, and you can be getting some exclusive insights. And of course, I'm going to be looking at taking some trades soon. So if you want to be checking that out, if you want to be connecting, make sure to check that second link down below for my group. And if you want to be signing up for WEEX, it's that first link down below to be claiming those bonuses and those massive rewards. Looking at the Bitcoin dominance, we haven't seen that massive move towards the downside that we've typically always seen. So of course, it is likely that, you know, we're going to be seeing Bitcoin have one further move towards the upside, and we're going to be seeing the Bitcoin dominance finally come down, where your altcoins are going to be seeing some inflows. So speaking about your altcoins, we got to talk about Ethereum. We can see that Ethereum's actually swept this previous low, and that's the low that I've been talking about on our channel, where I've been invalidated on my trade so far. And this is due to Trump's tariffs, and of course the altcoin market has actually responded quite worse. We can see from top to bottom, there's actually been up to 25% correction for Ethereum. So that's actually a massive move towards the downside, and that's the reason I've been taken out of my positions. But of course, we can see right now that we have not closed below this downward sloping trend line. So of course, we're still in this bull flag, and it is possible that Ethereum can continue towards the upside if we actually close the weekly candle within this actual pattern. But right now, you can see that we've actually swept the low, and all the downside liquidity has been grabbed. So of course, we can see on the higher time frames that we're starting to actually lose some support levels. So if we actually close below this level, then of course we do have room to actually maybe come a bit lower and fill the wick, and maybe we can continue towards the upside. But of course, I do think still that Ethereum is going to be moving towards all-time highs, because we never actually see Ethereum in previous cycles not surpass this previous all-time high. So it is likely that if we can actually hold this horizontal level that we're on right now, then it is likely that Ethereum can actually have another attempt at its all-time high, since we only tested it a few times there. So once we do actually do that, then I do think Ethereum is going to be moving towards the upside, and we're going to be seeing Ethereum against Bitcoin move towards the upside also. And you can see that we're actually testing this trend line. So of course, this may be some sort of bottom here, where you're going to be seeing Ethereum versus Bitcoin move towards the upside, and Ethereum actually recovers. And in a monthly time frame, we're still seeing the MACD actually massively bullish still, and we are retesting this diagonal support level. So that's another reason why I do think that, yeah, Ethereum can actually see some sort of a bounce relatively soon, and we can actually continue towards the upside. But right now, of course, we are dumping, and we are actually testing the horizontal level of support. So if we cannot hold this level, then the picture does change a little bit. But as of now, we're literally on the knife's edge. We're literally testing it right now. So of course, we need to be waiting for the weekly candle close to be seeing if we close above it or below it, and then we could take it from there. So that'll be it for me. Make sure to be following me on X to be staying up to date with all my updates here, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Have a blessed rest of your day. Peace, guys. See ya. Bye bye.